Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. So I need to catch up on a couple prompts. We've got the autumn leaf prompt from the Roxy Creations Stitchery Journal of Stitchery project that I need to do, and also mossy forest floor. I think I've got that right. And of course there's another one coming this week. So I'm sort of pleased that I've got the two of them that I can approach in one go, because in my head I'm sort of thinking they go beautifully together with the leaves coming down from the top of a page and the floor coming up from the bottom of the page. But we'll see how we go. What I've been doing for the last week is just putting things in piles with the journals, because I've got the two of them to deal with. The one that is dedicated to Edith Holden, and the one that is more, actually it's the other way around, is more my backyard. So, in anticipation of not having a great deal of autumn toned ephemera pieces, as in stitched doilies, I had this put aside for the project, and I stitched it every morning while I was having a coffee with Tia. There's the scissors. I was wondering where they got to. My room is still in a bit of a turned up mess, but it sort of is working at the moment, because as I put everything away, anything that is autumnal or inspires those sorts of feelings I've been putting to one side, which is this end of the desk. So bear with me as I sort of sort through my piles and see what exactly I've put aside, and then maybe we can work out a bit of a plan. So this was unstitched. Let me come up a little bit in the camera. I feel like we're right in the shot. So yeah, this one was unstitched. That was the piece of artwork that was attached to it. It was a combination of long and short stitches, side by side. I did one pretty much as per the pattern, which was that one, with lots of little long and short stitches around it. Then that became quite laborious and took forever. So I started doing a combination of short and long stitches, and then stem stitch, and then short and long stitches, and then if I felt like it, a few more, and then back to stem stitch. So I did a mixture. Now this little guy, I just want to show you some thread information. Might zoom in. So using Wonderfill variegated cottons, I had 3 of them wound onto, I'm pretty sure they were Wonderfill. Let me double check that. Pretty sure. Yeah. Pearl cotton, Wonderfill. So that little guy there, I bought these around the COVID time, and I'm pretty sure I got them from Lisa Maddock when she was selling pearl cotton Wonderfill threads. I haven't been on her website for some time, so I'm just not sure if forage is the place to go without checking that, but they're everywhere. EZM 1054, 58, so 1058 and 1051, and they hadn't been used, hardly ever. So this here is each one of those threads. So the center, I started with the darker one, and then slowly drifted into this one, and then finished the top of the leaf with that one, and then come back to this one to finish it off. So that leaf is all 3. Then I started playing, because I sort of did one every morning. That one's that one, that one's that one. So you can see how having a couple variegated threads and using them accordingly is not a bad way to get some really interesting stitching. Now these two, because I then thought, well, I could do with some more to play with, and I happened to go into Dewdrop In the day prior to doing this one. I picked up another Wonderfill, so this guy here, he just needs to be wound on like that guy. So that's how they come, and these are all number 8s, my favourite sort of weight to stitch with. If you go for a number 5, it's getting thicker. If you go for a number 12, it's getting thinner. If you're wondering how those numbers work, it's often a question in the comments. So this little guy, he's 2212, is that guy. So completely different again, but still variegated. So I've got 4. And then I was around the back of the store where at Dewdrop Inn, where they had crochet cottons for anyone who's visiting the bay, maybe holidaying and needs do some crocheting. And I found that. Oh gosh, I've got a bit of a funny throat. Hope I'm not coming down with something. Wouldn't surprise me. I feel like I've been burning the candle at every end. I picked up this guy, DMC. It's a crochet cotton. It's 3-ply, I think I read somewhere. Or did I not read that? Anyway, it feels very much like a pearl cotton. It's just a little shinier. It's like it's been twisted a little more, but it's variegated and it certainly fits our theme. So I did that little fellow. So my theory was, out of all of these leaves that are turning into this autumnal scenario, I'd have this one little green leaf who hasn't yet turned. I just don't know which journal that will go into, but that's what I've got in the way of elements that I can use. So let's just pop that aside. I can now get rid of this, because I've shown you guys the backstory on that. I found this in my travels. So that's got potential. Some of these that I show you, I get a feeling I should put them aside for the Just Because quilt, because the back side of my quilt, where all the flower sacks are, and is a lot plainer, and I'm using this type of thing to stitch on as just a decorative element. So I'm sort of looking for quite large, continuous embroideries. Something like that could come and join the group. So I'm going to put him aside for a minute. This one too, I've carted this everywhere, and I just don't think I need it for here. If anything nice and big, save that for Just Because. This here has potential for this piece, so I might just hang on to that. This one I inherited while I was on the road, because one of my old neighbours from Brisbane, she called me about a month ago, and unfortunately her mum had suddenly passed away. So the girls were cleaning out her mum's house, and they had a little pile of doilies, and she had laundered them and dropped them into the shop, and I just hadn't been down there to get them. So I sort of have a few little elements that will pop up. A lot were the crocheted ones, but there were some beautiful doilies, very much loved and used, which is fantastic. Like, even, I don't know what that staining is, but that there, I love the colour of it. Who knows what it is? So I feel very privileged to have those. And that big one, I think, is a bit of a Just Because. They might be okay, but we'll leave it hang around on the table. As you know, I am wanting to include a doily of some description, not a doily, paper napkin of some description. So I had a look through my box of napkins and I found that one. Now these, I have some red mushrooms in the front garden, and they are ceramic, and there's 3 of them. I picked them up at the local garden centre, and I've put them in the edge of the garden where the hose potentially could be pulled a little bit too fast, too tight, and take out a plant. So these ceramic mushroom stakes, I'll put a picture at the end of the video. They guide the hose around the edge of the garden bed. So when it comes to mushrooms in my garden, that's my reference. I do have some little toadstools that pop up from, you know, here and now occasionally, but they don't last very long. As soon as the heat of the day comes, they're gone. It's like they come alive through the night and then, yeah, gone. So, autumnal tones, I found that. Look at those. They're very inspiring. So I'm sort of using elements of these napkins to help build my background up in all of my pieces. So that is what I found so far. There's a blank page. There's another little doily. I like this edge. Another little doily. So now I'm sort of rummaging through. Oh, this belonged to the old neighbour. That one there. That I had in my stash. that I had picked up in my stash as well. Might be a bit big. See, to me that might work well on the Just Because quilt. So I've pretty much been grabbing anything orange, to be honest. At least that's a start. I'm going to pop that away. That can stay. Then I went to, I'm slowly building up a collection of crocheted colours, I'm going to call them. So just elements that are not cream. So in my orange stash, I had that. So that's a definite. Then I started looking at my trims and I found that. And I thought, well, that's something. So that's the page I need for the field notes, Edith Holden. Oh gosh, it feels like forever since I've looked in here. So this one has a real field notey feel about it. Oh my gosh, it has been a while. Oh, it's got a real orange thing happening already. Okay, so we're at the turn of the book. So my concertina book is going to be a circular fashion. So we've made our way right around to the point where I'm at the end, and this is the front page for the new section. Oh, what have we got in here? Just some elements and some spare pages. Oh, that's right, I had a stitched page too, didn't I? Wonder if that will work now with leaves. That'd save a bit of work. We'll keep that and that out. Just bear with me, guys. I've really got no idea what I'm going to be doing. Okay, let's put the journal away. So we are really doing a title page. So then this one here is a double spread potentially. Let me just bring the camera up. I still feel like I'm up and on top of you. This would be good for mushrooms because it's a double page. Would give me more space. Okay, so there's a decision. Definitely going to be a single page. All right, let's just have a look through this pile. Now, this is things that I thought might be more suitable for the journal that is here. And this one's all about my place. Now, deciduous trees. Oh, it's so bright. Gosh, it's really going to go down a different path with the oranges. So where are we at with that? So we've got a single page here, but then we're the start of the little journal within that page. Because remember, these were books. These are Reader's Digest books that have been joined end on end. So there's one joining in there, and there's the other one. So this one, and then within those, I've put a little swinging piece of fabric to catch other embroideries. So we've got something here. So either a double spread or two singles. Double spread. I really feel like this is going to be a celebration of red mushrooms. So in a coming video, we'll be definitely doing a red mushroom spread. Okay, let's just put that aside. So autumnal things here. Oh, would you believe? Look, this one here feels like it's too big and would be perfect. Look at that. That to me is made for the Just Because quilt. So I'm going to, oh, maybe not. Maybe it's too, what do I do with the centre? Oh my goodness. If that was cut there and cut there, that's not a bad sort of shape for Just Because. Anyway, I'm going to put it aside. I don't think I need it. It's just complicating my mind. I found that little guy a minute ago in a cupboard. I thought, well, maybe that's got potential. The thing with my journal an autumn in Queensland is it doesn't really happen. Got this little guy. That was gifted to me by Susanna. So yeah, autumn is a little bit non-existent here in Queensland. We don't get that big change of season. It's just all merges into a slightly cooler season for winter. So I sort of don't have a real reference point. Mushrooms, we've already discussed the red. Maybe this needs to go towards this journal. If I'm going to do red mushrooms, really, that's excess pages for the actual journal itself. So I can pop that aside. Just some doilies that I thought I liked. See these tones here? I think this is very pretty. Maybe for my journal, instead of doing that orange thing, I do a soft pinks and caramel colours. Let's have a look at that journal again. And I guess that's my way of saying I don't really have a distinctive autumnal feel. But it would give me a different colour palette. Those sorts of tones. Maybe that then will lead me into something here. And then a blast of red when we turn the page. So that's a bit of an idea. So I'm thinking that, and that was another one. It's so nice. Maybe that, and that works. Maybe those little mushrooms stay there. I don't know. It might work. I think that little combination can sit for now and percolate. So I'm going to put it on my beachy journal. The other thing I've grabbed is I went to the cupboard and just grabbed some colours that best suit these vibrant autumnal colours. And these are fabrics that I've bought in a pack. They would be 30-year-old. And they're just sitting there. So I thought, right, we're going to chop into them. They're all connected to the same designer. It's flowers in pots, and it nearly looks like stained glass behind them. There we go. There's the name of it. Good luck trying to find it if it caught your eye, because, gosh, we're talking the 90s for those. What's that? Was that twisted up in it? Okay. So I've got this little pack that are all complementary fabrics. So that could be some background. That was sitting with them. That is just a plain fabric, very orange. Whether it's too orange, I don't know, but I grabbed it. What is this? So this was caught up in amongst it. This is more recent. Yeah, 2020. Laundry basket quilts. I do like that. How pretty is that? Maybe, does that work with the fabrics from the ocean quilt that we just put on the side? Let me grab them back again. Does that complement that? Oh, I think it does. Look at that. Yeah, all right. There's a decision made. Maybe my autumnal leaves for the garden one is going to be more a floral and focus on these leaves. Maybe I'll cut a piece of that out, thread paint it, and then work in all of that. Yeah, I'm feeling inspired with that. That's good. That'll give me a completely different colour palette to what's happening over here. I can hear Pepper and Bandit barking at someone. Someone must be walking along the lake. Oh, Pepper, obnoxious. She just wants to be with them because she goes out there and walks along the lake too. So whenever anyone else comes along, she just is terrible. I'm going to pause the video and pull her up because she's just being obnoxious. Back in a minute, guys. Okay, I'm back. Now where was I? So the last pile to show are things that I think I can use for mushrooms. So I've gone down the wool path, and when I was having my coffee, I was looking at this little guy. He's still hanging on my little stand, my little Christmas tree stand, because, you know, I have to have a Christmas tree up all year, and it's my grandmother's Christmas tree, and it's holding all of my handmade pieces. So this little guy I made at Christmas. So I'm definitely going to go down the velour wool velvet. There's the fabrics that I picked up at Howard Drapery. A little bit of old linen. That was a pair of shorts, not mine, random pair of shorts. So, and then I saw that, so I grabbed it. Then I saw that. Don't know if I'll need it, but sort of jumped out at me. So I don't think I'll need any of that at the moment. That'll be in a future video. And of course, then I've got my Sue Spargo Truffle Duffle book. So, gee, if I can't find a mushroom in there to play with, like, look at those. I love those red ones at the top. Gosh, she's a clever girl. Lots and lots of inspiration there. But if you don't have the Sue Spargo book, there's heaps of stitched mushrooms out there. So let's get focused. I've already wasted 20 minutes la-la-ing around here. So I've got a collection of fabrics, collection of stitcheries, some little trimmy bits, and my napkins. So we are working on the Edith Holden. Just to recap, it's a front page only scenario, a single page. So leaves only, squirrel. I think squirrel needs to be it. So let's have a little look. Maybe that'll be good for the background of the double page spread and the mushrooms come up in it. Just a thought. So I'll put that away. Red mushrooms go with the Ocean Journal for a rainy day. Don't think I need the butterflies, so we'll keep them just to one side. And let's have a look at the squirrel. So the plan is, like I've done with the others, pull in an element from a paper towel, a paper napkin. Lots of you have been asking, how does it go to stitch into? Well, I haven't done a lot of stitching into it because A, it's delicate, so I've got to be a little careful. Paper's not very forgiving when stitching into it, so you need to be very decisive on your entry point of that needle, because once you make that hole, it's there for good. You can't, like fabric, you can sort of massage the fibres and pull the fabric back in. So you need to be mindful of that. I'm going to get rid of that little guy. I don't know, can we use this? So yeah, the paper works. Oh, I like that on there. But is it something you can stitch into a lot? No. You could do some little random stitches, yes, but just be careful. I love those berries. So let's separate out this one image. We don't need a swarm of squirrels. I don't know what a pack of squirrels is called. What's a cluster of squirrels called? You know, when you have animals and they have a name for the group. Get back to me, guys. Let me know what a cluster of squirrels is. Someone Google it. Yell it out. We want to know. All right, squirrels are away. I guess the question is, what's it look like there? When you're doing this type of work, as in putting these napkins onto paper, you need to be mindful of your background colour because it can distort your image. So do we put it on the clean, clear image? Do we put it on the words? Does it do much? I like it on there, you know. Heaven forbid I've got a background stitched and ready to roll. There we go. We're going to take it. That, I don't know when we did that. I think I did it fairly early on, and it's been pushed along in the pile because it hasn't suited the colour palette. Certainly doesn't suit the forest. I think it suits this. So if we add these guys and then build up. Is everything going to be too orange? Might be. That'd be right. These leaves are going to be good, but maybe we could create some of these types of leaves. Maybe we don't need all of that orange. Gosh, now we're changing path again. What's all this? So don't mind that guy. But that's probably too much. Yeah, all right. Axe that. I can hear Fudgy meowing. Fudgy, we're in here. He's a bit disorientated. I went through one way to get to Pepper and come back another way, and Fudgy must have followed. Fudgy, puss, puss. Come on. Pussy. Oh my goodness, that cat. I'm going to fussy cut these out. Give me a moment to think. Do I want the edge of the doily in any way? No. Do I want some of this text? Possibly. Hey Fudge, we're over here. Puss, puss. So let's get these fussy cut out. And I think we'll drape them over the squirrels. It'll just depend to where we put the squirrels on the page. Do they sit low and the trees become a massive canopy? Possibly. Do they sit in the middle of the page and then we can build Pussy? We can build from the bottom as well as the top. I really love that leaf there. Fudgy, don't bump the camera. Let's say hello to Fudgy. I get requests to say hello to Fudgy. Oh, Fudgy bee. Just gonna bring him up to the camera. You say, hi Fudgy. Push, push. Let's just spin the Pussy around. Hello, Fudgy. Hello, push, push. There we go, everyone. There's the Fudge cat. Oh, he's a good boy. He's been so clingy since I've been gone. It's nice to know the cat likes me. He's showing a lot of love to me. You sometimes wonder when it's just food, feed me, open the door, sit back down, give me your lap. I want the warmth. Okay. I wonder if I have some other doilies I could stitch in tones of these. Or what if I look for I wonder if I have a fabric that has some leaves and tones. I don't think so. Autumnal colours really aren't a colour that I have in my stash. I'm a bit of a navy blue cream girl, but I do like playing with pink, orange, greens. You know, some days I just feel like doing bright things. We'll need to create a colour swatch for it using the paints because that's a theme through the whole Edith book. Maybe I can just layer some crocheting underneath these things, these leaves, then maybe make additional leaves. Who did I see on video that had made a masterboard using fabric at some stage and then cut into it to create leaves? Who was that? Gosh, my memory's not like it used to be. I think I'm just tired. Still tired. Weary is the word. Physically all right. It's just weary. You know, when your brain is sort of just not keeping up with everything. What did I do this morning? And I was like, gee, that's a dopey thing to do. Put it straight down to being weary. Just going to fussy cut these out a little more. I don't know what it was. I know. I make a coffee every morning using an espresso machine that has the pods, and there's a milk frother that's to the side of it. And there's a little agitator thing in there that spins the milk as it heats it to make it a little bit frothy. So I put the milk in the little container, pop it on the little round base that starts the little engine. It's not an engine, but you know what I mean. And it spins. Well, that little agitator thing is magnetic, so you can take it out of that container and give it a good clean, which I had done the day before. So I put the milk in, put it on the thing, and I hear this funny whir, and it stopped. I'm thinking, oh no, my little coffee machine potentially is jiggered. Then I realised that it was the little agitator was missing. It was still sitting on the sink, having been cleaned and dried off. And I just thought, there's another example. Oh, I got another one. There was another example of just weary and, not quite getting the ducks in the row. So I had a missed call from my cousin. She's a lot older than me, and we're pretty close, and she was checking up on Dad's progress, and she'd called late last week, and I'd sent her a little message and say, look, there's heaps to tell you. Instead of me ringing you with a bit of a quick update, I'll pop over for a chat on the weekend. So it was Saturday afternoon, so barely given myself much of a rest, to be honest, but I was sitting on the couch already getting, I've got to do something, because I'd allocated the whole weekend to do nothing. I like no human talking, just nothing, just me doing nothing. And I got to Saturday afternoon, I'm like, I feel like talking to someone. So I sent her a message and said, are you home? I'll come over for a chat. Now, she lives on the same road as me, and it's a big circular road. So I hop in the van, actually, because it was parked on the grass to let some tradesmen down the side of our house. And I thought, I better get it off the grass because I don't want the wheels to sort of be there too long and kill the grass. So I said to Gaz, I'm going to take the van around, and when I come back I can park it up on the driveway, and that'll be another little job done. So, yep, no problem. So off I chuff. And we're talking 2 kilometres tops. And I was looking at all the houses, and I was going like 25k an hour, just tootling along, looking at all the houses. And we come in one way, and if you continue on, you come back to where we would come in. So we come in this way all the time and very rarely go the old way. When we had the house originally on the other side of the lake, we would go that way past my cousin's house. But now the road has been continued on through the last stage of the estate. So we very rarely drive that original road, is what I'm saying. So I'm tootling along going, oh, what a lovely day. I can hear the ocean and feel like a bit of a cruise, even though it was only 2 kilometres. Look at that house. Oh, gosh, that block of land sold. Oh, look, they've got the roof on that house. You know how it goes. I was just enjoying the little outing. Fudgy, please. Anyway, I get around to the straight, and it's straight ahead. They're halfway along. Here's the T-junction to do a lap back to our place. And I could see in the distance a camper trailer parked up with another car. And in my head, I thought, oh, they've got visitors. Gosh, I hope I'm not intruding. Oh, look at that house. That's sold now. Oh, goodness, they've put a new driveway in. Gee, I like that colour. Oh, gosh, they've got visitors. You see how the brain was going. I was just all over the place. So I'm tootling along. Then I pull up behind the camper trailer, and I'm looking at the house that it's parked, and I'm thinking, that's not Cheryl's house. There's the intersection. I'd passed it, completely driven past her property. So I'm like, well, do I do a U-turn and I'd be back there in under 10 seconds, or do I do another lap? Because I'd enjoyed that lap so much, I did another lap. So I come out to the street where you're coming in, turn to the left to do the whole lap again. So by this time, Gaz is out in the front yard watering, and he sees me drive past in the van. So I waved, and he's looking at me going, oh, she must have forgot something. But see, I didn't stop. The gate didn't open. I didn't stop. I kept going, and I'm doing 25 kilometres an hour, tootling along. I get past our place, back around the corner, up the main straight. Oh, yeah, that block did sell. Gee, I like that garden. Gee, she's doing a lovely job with those plants. So here we go again. My head's just, drifting, enjoying my little outing. And I'm like, right, get yourself together, girl. You're going to miss Cheryl's house. So I pulled up out the front. I made it. And Cheryl, she's in the garden. She's watering. And she's like, didn't you just go past? She said, I saw a van and thought, gee, that looks like Gaz's van. It's our work van. So I said, yeah, I did. She says, did you forget something? Yeah, sort of. I forgot where you lived. So that's what happened. I did around the block twice. We're talking total lap of 5 kilometres, if that. You could walk it easily. Oh, I tell you guys, I was having a lovely day. Lovely outing. Oh, my goodness me. So that was I'm either starting to lose it or I'm just weary, mentally weary. I think that's what it is. I should come good. I don't think I'm much better yet. I still feel a bit, I made a coffee this morning without the agitator in the machine. It's probably best I don't do too many strenuous things like make big decisions. Oh, my goodness. It's funny how you have days like that. You think you're cruising and you're on that adrenaline and you're running along. You think, yeah, no problems. And then the moment you stop, it's like everything catches up with you. There's not much happening on this piece here. You guys are probably, most of them would have tuned out by now. The stayers who are sitting and stitching, you're in for the haul. Oh, my goodness. I'll get this little guy stitched. Oh, I suddenly feel really hot. I think that coffee is kicking in. Yeah, these are going to be good. I like how they're the right shape. Look at the squirrel leaves. So we're in the right. We're in the right. That pine cone's gorgeous. That'd be a lovely element to add to a page for leaves. Is the pine cone. Acorns. We don't have squirrels in Australia, unfortunately. They're blooming cute, in my opinion. Those of you who have them might think differently. They probably do damage to wiring. I don't know. Do they eat wiring? They get into the roof of your house. Can they do a lot of damage like our beloved rats do and mice? Or are they more of a forest, eating nuts and things like that, so they're not destructive like a rat? That sort of sounds like would be the case the more I think about it. They're darn cute. All right, we've got one more to go. We're getting there. I'm pleased I've been able to use this doily. It was a bit of a random one that I found, and I'm like, oh, when am I ever going to stitch that crazy girl grabbing that? But there you go. You just never know. I want to clean out. I was saying this to Tia. I just feel like turning my room upside down, having a big tidy up, a reorganise. I feel like I've settled now here, and I'd like to get things a little slicker in the way that I find elements to do projects with. And that would require ripping everything out, having a good look at everything. It's a good way to see things that you may have forgotten. I was watching Sonia Steptoe's video, and she'd had a friend visit and had been working in her room and she'd found and organised, you know, sort of found a heap of things while organising the room is what I'm trying to say. And I thought, there you go. See, that's not a bad thing. Just pull everything out of the cupboard, tidy it up, and in the process you'll find all these new elements that potentially could be used. So I'm thinking about doing that. But we'll see. Got a pretty big week this week. Got a lot of paperwork to process for my dad. So we'll see how the week goes. Might be just a bit of stitching in the morning with you guys. Might just pinch these. I just feel like they might be interesting little morsels. And if I keep them, they could go on anything in the future too. It's text. I like a little bit of text on my pieces. We'll leave the little edge the way it is. Pure linen. Let's get that little guy. You never know. Those little holes are really cute too for winding or pulling thread through. Maybe that could be the sampler on this piece. Who knows? Here we go. Design 360. That's very field notey. Maybe I'll go a little bit further with that one, and that then gives space to maybe put some fabric swatches here. I don't know. And there was one here, Semco. Nah, I don't think I want Semco. I like that edge. That's got potential. I might just trim it. Get some bigger scissors. Let's see what we can pull together now. And this edge. I just want to grab my journal and make sure I get the right side. If I'm going to have things hanging over a page, I need to know that the right side of the page, where are you? Put that away. So I can have a little bit of hanging over happening. So that works. Look, you're not even in camera, girl. Pop up a little bit further. So if that was an edge, that suits that side. So we can do that, potentially. It's a very wonky edge. And we can even do a little bit here. Okay, so there's no real restrictions. We don't want that because we're using the leaves. So we could work an edge in here like that. I like that idea. Let's just pin it for now. Come down here so we... And maybe we thread some of this variegated cotton. The other thing I need to do is work out the squirrels. Get squirrels into position. That needs to dry before I do too much stitching. Otherwise it'll be moved too much. But what we'll do is at least get the layout started. All right, so if that's there, grab that journal again. That would be my page. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that's a good use for that little bit. I could even be clever and work in even more on that edge as well. Maybe that comes this side. Is it straightish? Not really. I could take that edge and bring it in that side. So it looks like this text is floating. definite possibility. I don't think we have anything else really suitable, but we'll come to that. Let's talk squirrels. Where are you going to go, little man? And then we've got our leaves. So let's just have a little play. To me, it needs to be lower. Got some big leaves. Maybe we get these big leaves. I think we'll lose that, but then I can use it for something else. Yeah. What we might do, where's my glue and my pen that has water in it? This is just one of those little brushes that has a bit of water in the canister. You untwist it, fill it up. Really handy, and that's just damp. Really handy for this type of work. We're going to separate this out. And just with a line, you've weakened the fibres of that, and I can just pull it out. What I think we might do is glue that. Where's that napkin? Scraps. I think we'll glue that onto there. Then I can fussy cut it out, and that becomes an element. Okay, that's good. Now this guy can come into here in some way, if he'll fit. Squirrels move up. Tail of squirrel is fine. That's fine. And that just fits there. I won't pin it because I don't think I need to. Then we need to build more leaves. There's this one green one that's yet to turn. I think this is the way I'm going to go. The squirrels are going to be in the middle. My leaves are coming in from the top and bottom. Do I have too many leaves? Possibly. May not need them all. Maybe this. Where's my... Just need a pad here. Just going to glue I'm going to get this guy in position. So using my glue stick, I'm just going to get plenty of glue on there and then lay him down. Not enough glue. So I let this dry overnight. You just want to give it every chance of being strong and that delicate napkin becoming nice and secure with a nice bit of glue in behind it all. Just be gentle too. It's pretty easy to break the napkin. So that little guy would dry, and then when it's nice and dry, I'll fussy cut it out. So that's what we'll do with the squirrel. And then maybe that could be an element that comes in from the top, so it looks like this is going up there. I don't know. And I know I can get more of those elsewhere, so maybe I'll need another one to come from the bottom. Possibly. So that needs to dry. Now let's get these little guys out of the way. I think we've got a bit of a plan. Let's take squirrel element out. The other thing I need to have a little think about is the acorns. I really like that idea of having some acorns, but I don't have much space here. So we've gone around it completely. Tease out the excess. This reminds me of the days we were doing decoupage and we were putting paper images on timber boxes and cardboard boxes, and it We were never stitching them and we were never putting them on fabric. I wasn't anyway. It's good when we can revisit old skills. There we go. Yeah. They're going to go in the middle, not quite halfway. So, yeah. What I might do while we're still together is stitch this on. And then I know it's there. So I need needle and thread. Goodness me, I don't even have some thread here. I tell you, I feel like I've been turned upside down. Hang on, what's this container? Got a thread in here? Yes, we do. I'll slowly get myself organised. I won't be if I turn the room upside down, will I? I'm going to put this aside because it's got a bit of glue on it, tacky. Let's get back to this. Lid on. So my homework will be to get squirrels in position, lay those leaves around in some form of encompassing squirrel, decide whether I want to create a couple more leaves to help bulk it up. Maybe I'll find some in my travels of cleaning my room. Maybe there'll be enough here. The other thing I need to do is create the swatch of colours. How are we going for time? And I'm sort of thinking of doing something with those, whether I've got room. So I'm just going to invisible stitch this down and just have a little think. Yeah, I'm going to wind through here those threads that I use to stitch the leaves. So that'll get a bit of a feature. Then somewhere on the page, I'll grab one of these. I'm thinking this one. And maybe do oh, I know what I could do. What about, see, when I say sampler, what I'm talking about, if you're wondering what's she going on about, this. Everywhere that through this journal, I've put a little sample of elements that reflect the page, either paint, fabric, that's the selvage, paint, and nothing. So that blew that theory. So what I'm thinking is on this, on that side, I stitch the threads, or at least tie the threads that I've used on it. And maybe, I'll bring them up through that, and then maybe that could go there, because I think if that was underneath it, that would still be okay, or even tucked over it. I think that'll still work. Okay, I like that idea. I feel like we're getting a plan there, guys. So let's just get this stitched, and then I'll toddle off, get my squirrels in position, lay down all my leaves. I think you got the general gist of the leaves. Stitch it all in, create my little sampler. And I believe we can call the leaf prompt done. So when I come back in the next video, which will probably be tomorrow, because I've got to get a wriggle on with this, I can show you this one completed. We can pop it into the journal, at which time I'll decide whether I continue with this prompt in the next journal or I stay with that journal and we move into mushrooms. I think I'll go, I don't know what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I think I'll stay with the leaves because I've sort of got all these elements here, and then we start with the mushrooms, but I don't know. Who knows? Let's just get a page done, it'd be good. What else haven't I put in this that I've been using? I think that's pretty much it. I usually have a little bit of font, text, something. I think we've covered that in this background. I can't even remember stitching this. I think I did it right at the beginning, didn't I? And then didn't use it. Possibly, most likely. So this little trim now is utilised. I'm glad I stitched those little leaves. I think I would have been really scrambling to try and find something to use. We've had to create leaves another way, which will be the case for the next journal, which, like I said before, technically I don't have autumnal leaves, so I think it'll go down the lines of those colours, which are definitely Arid Australia, and even Arid Australia has a winter, but doesn't go real orange and red, not where I live anyway. It does at my hometown because they're on the other side of the Great Dividing Range and they do get a very cold winter. So trees will drop their leaves and you can sort of see, that change of the season, but not here on the coast. Okay, we're whipping down here now. Feels good to be stitching. Alrighty. Once I get to the bottom, I might toddle off, leave you guys in peace. Nearly there. Doesn't take long, does it? And just enough time to slow your mind down so you didn't even catch that, but that's okay. It'll give a nice little edge to that piece. So now we can, I'll trim it a little higher. I like things hanging out the top of pages, so we'll go a little higher. We'll straighten you up. And I'll pick a thread that will go up and down through those holes just to put a little pop of colour. So that's the plan there. Those little pieces can be filed away in a goodness knows where spot. Goodness knows. And this little guy, we just need to, so now that's given me that little bit extra space there, which is not a bad thing. Just need to stay away from the holes, and I need to check that there's room for all of this to fit before I get glue stick happy. Where's the other big one? It was down the bottom here, wasn't it? Yeah, that's where it's going to be. So where's this? Might do it with you guys. Don't want to go. Don't want to say goodbye. So let's just lift that up. Now this is quite a lumpy, bumpy background, which does pose an extra challenge because you've got to make sure you get glue right in there. You could probably iron on violin or interfacing on the back of this element too. There you go, there's an idea I haven't tried. That'd reinforce it nicely. I guess it's not really any different to what I'm doing, putting a glue between two surfaces. A I love how the glue stick is blue, so I can see where I have glue and where I don't. Take your time, girl, don't rush. It's all good. And we now have squirrels. Would have been nice to stitch them and take 3 months to do that in long and short stitch. Do a Trisha Burr embroidery. But we don't have time for that. Maybe another day. So there's all my little edges secured with the glue. So very gently just get that connected. And like I said, I'll let this sit overnight. There's no rush. You're better off letting things dry before you start dragging needle and thread through. Just spin it around. I'm covering up that stitching there, but anyway. Was not to know there'd be squirrels in the centre of this piece when I created that background. That's how it goes, doesn't it? Nice and generous. Now let's see where we're at. A little bit more here and here. For goodness sakes, stand up. Yep, that looks pretty good. Oops, finger stuck. Need a little bit more here for his little tail. I definitely will need a trim on this side because I can see that I'm going to need to protect that edge a little bit. So I'll find something that can come along this edge, probably a piece of crocheting or something, like I was fiddling around with that doily. Just need one that has a straight edge. Being that it's the turning page of my journal, it's never nearly like another title page. Don't fiddle too much because the paper is now wet and is very easily separated. That's enough. Stop. Put it away. Put the glue away. Okay. That just has to dry. Then I can position those leaves where I had them, roughly. I'll then do a little, oh yeah, that works, doesn't it? A little topper up here, and I'll do something with the threads. I could do, like, I think I've seen a few of you do it. I think Rachel did it, didn't she? She looped the threads into like a little cluster like that. That'd be cute. Something along those lines with a little stitch to secure it all. And then that could go there like that. Yeah. Oh, I like that idea. Maybe just the one. Looks like a little bow. And then if the thread came up through, so I didn't need any of that orange fabric at the moment. So it's always the way. I might lift it right up. Can I pin it? Do I stitch it? Where's my needle and thread? We're stitching it. I've got a tiny little bit. Gee, prepare early what you need, not. Even then thought about some buttons and I thought, I don't have any orange buttons. That's wishful thinking. It's a very out of skew with. Oh my goodness. No, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to undo that and try again. Look, talk about all over the place. You know what? I don't even mind it down there. But anyway, that will be a decision for another day. But that's going to be my little sampler element, as long as it all works with the leaves. I think it will. We get the story of the doily that it came from. I still have this little guy that I can fussy cut out when that's nice and dry, so that can peek through somewhere, and I may go looking for another one. I suspect I will. I think those squirrels are about to lose more leaves. Okay, there we go. I think we've got a plan. Yay. Prompt number 1, Edith Holden journal, tick. I've just got to pull it all together. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to toddle off. This video is a long one. It's all good. It was a lot to work out. I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. I'm back. Just been sitting here pinning in those leaves. So I've run the thread through there, knotted it off. I've run the variegated thread, which was this one I decided to use. It's the sort of middle of the range of the colours. So there's this touch of it coming through the back here. Like I said, I've pinned all of the big embroidered leaves. That had dried and I've fussy cut it out. Let me bring it up to the camera. So it's fussy cut out and it's just pinned into position there. So it looks like this tree the squirrels is on is sort of extending out the bottom there. Then there's these random flowers. And I decided to do another one. And I've been thinking about, do I do a sampler here that it's painted or stitch? I sort of feel like there's enough there. So as I was gluing this guy onto a piece of that doily background that was scrappy, I'm going to cut out the big leaf and I'm going to separate off this little leaf, that little guy there. And I think that little guy can peek up through here, so it looks like it's coming up, and that becomes the sampler. And then over here, I feel like the bigger leaf could come through from underneath those guys. So it looks like the tree that the squirrels is on goes from this corner up to this corner. That gets me that diagonal line that I sort of feel like anchors the piece. Squirrels are the feature. Little leaves pop out there. That one little leaf can pop out here. Yeah, I did toss around this and I pinched out there. I thought, well, that's nearly a leaf. So I started looking at maybe adding in some of those types of elements, but I just don't think I need it. And I was thinking, well, that could be the little sampler up here, just a little piece of that crocheted element. But then when because that's what was my first thought, that would work. Then I thought, well, maybe I can bring in some additional crocheted leaves. I just don't think it needs it at this stage. I'm thinking that just sort of muddies it up even more. I sort of like how it's cleaner. I'm looking up at the TV now that's up on the wall showing me what you're seeing, and all I see is an orange blob there. It looks better here, but I think there's so much happening in here. I don't want to take away from it, so I've rejected that idea. I do want an edge over here, whether something comes from those pieces, maybe even that could be the edge, a little bit more subtle. Yeah, see, I like that. I do like that. Where's the journal? So that's got to dry. That's still not dry. I shouldn't be mucking around with it. I should have just walked away, but you know how it is. I couldn't. So if that slides into there, we could have a little piece of that just peeking out the side. And it would just finish off that edge. I think I will do that, guys. I do want some fabric or something maybe going under here. So when it goes into the journal, that's another decision. Do I put something on that fold or just leave it as the calico? So that would go there on the edge of that. I might cut a piece off. And that's another little job I can do for my homework, is stitch, invisible stitch on that little trim. And that's just off of a doily that had quite a gathered. I've been nibbling at that for years. My goodness, I tell you. It's amazing how all these elements just keep coming together in such different ways. All right, there we go. There, that's the finished piece. So must let that dry. I will invisible stitch all these on. I don't think I'm going to do heavy stitching on the edges of them. I'll probably come back with my art glitter glue and just reinforce the edges of all of those so they don't fray. So I'll do that as well. Yeah, reinforce all those edges. Then I can just invisible stitch them and leave them feel more textural. I love how that feels like there's layers happening here. So the stitches will be on the inside and it'll be very, yeah, floaty. Does that make sense? Floaty. And I've got extra leaves ready to go up there, up there. There we go, done. I will leave it at that. Let things dry, go and sit it over in the sun, and then later this afternoon I can have a little stitch. So in tomorrow's video, when I pop back to start another page, this will be all stitched. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye and catch you in the next video. I did mention I was going to put a picture of the mushrooms at the end of this video. I won't. I'll wait until we do those red mushrooms. So I shall say goodbye. Bye-bye.